Welcome to the Positively You podcast. I'm your host, Jessie Larson, and I'm passionate about helping you shift the way you think so you can create a life you're absolutely obsessed with. Each week, I'll be bringing you a guest or a thought that's going to help you feel more optimistic and equipped to take real action. Get ready to push past limiting beliefs, ditch that negativity, and start showing up as the best and most positive version of you. Girl, let's do this. Welcome back to the Positively You podcast. I'm so excited. We are continuing on with our back to school success series. So if you missed last week, we talked all about how to tackle those chaotic school mornings and turn them from chaos to calm, helping you to have smooth, stress-free starts to your day. So if you missed that episode last week, definitely go back and check that out. One of my favorite things is starting my mornings off that way. I've had a couple of coaching calls recently that have talked about how much they're enjoying their mornings and that calm start to the day. So go back, check that out, and see what things you can implement in your mornings to make them a little bit more calm and a little bit more smooth. But today we are diving into the opposite end of the day, after school. After school routines, everything that goes along with when the clock strikes, I don't know, that 3:00, those kids come in and it can be chaotic, right? And our whole thing is to eliminate some of the chaos and incorporate more calm. So we are going to tackle that for today. Let's get into it. All right. The first thing that I want you to think about when you are going over your after school routines from the time that the kids come home till the time that they're in bed, about what your pain points are and what your problem areas are. They're going to be different for each family. We're all unique and we have our own challenges and our own kids and our own everything, right? So this is a guide for you to start looking at your unique situation and seeing what pain points you have and where they can be, where you can find solutions. However, there are a lot of common things that we all kind of deal with. So this will give you a framework with some common things that we deal with. And then if you need to adjust or adapt to your specific needs, well, there you go. All right. So the first problem that I can think of is what happens immediately when they walk in the door. Where does all of their stuff go? And if you don't have a designated place for it, like I sometimes didn't have a designated place for it, it goes right at the door, right? Right in the middle of, why does it always go right in the middle of where everyone needs to walk, or right in front of the door, or just scattered all throughout the house? So the solution here is creating some kind of a system for your backpacks, for your shoes, for your coats. I don't even want to think about coats yet. It is still 90 degrees outside and sunny, and I'm not ready for winter. But coming up with systems for all of the things after school, where do they go? Now, I'm not going to tell you the exact system you need because, again, that's going to be different for all of you. But is it hooks right by the door? Is it a closet? Is it up in their rooms? And has the expectation been communicated and modeled for your kids? I think that's one of the biggest things. Also, when it comes to organizing your kids' stuff and drop zones especially, here is a hack that I learned years and years and years ago, a tip from another podcaster. I don't even remember what podcast it was on, but it was talking about noticing where your family is naturally dropping things and putting the solution there. Even though that might not be like aesthetically pleasing or where you would put it, your family already kind of has a habit in place, or your kids already have a habit in place of where they're dropping something. So for mine, it's right inside the garage door. And I look at that and I think, this, I do not want it here. It's a small space. It's annoying, but they're dropping things there. So I can either try to retrain them and have them come to a different spot and put it there, or I can put, a basket for the shoes and some hooks on the wall right there so that it's easy. Going with kind of what your family's naturally doing is going to help you. So if you find, that the bottom of the stairs is always a place where things are left, toss a basket there or something, right? Like help your family with the easiest possible solution and the easiest habit that's going to stick. So that's a tip I heard years and years and years ago. And I've tried to kind of always think about that when I'm implementing new systems, especially when it comes to drop zones for my family. Beyond that, I do want to double back on that expectations. Has that been voiced to them? Has it been modeled for them? And then just the consistency as they're learning where things go and what the expectation is. Making sure that everyone knows where their stuff goes, what's expected, and that it's non-negotiable, right? So this is going to keep not only your entryways from turning into a disaster zone, but it's also going to help teach your kids responsibility and organization, which is a win-win-win for everybody. So the second pain point that sometimes pops up that I keep hearing, not only in my own head, but just in circles and with my friends and with clients, is the after school snacks. Whether that's something that we as the mom have to be a really big part of and help to prepare and to get our kids those snacks. That's going to be age dependent. Obviously, the younger they are, the more hands-on we have to be as moms. And so coming up with a habit or a system or a routine or a rhythm, pick the word that works best for you, that's going to help you to have snack time after school feel less chaotic. Honestly, that's the goal we're going for here. So how you can have balanced, healthy, fun snacks while not destroying dinner, but giving them, the fuel and the nutrition that they need after school and without it feeling like just another job that you have to do as the mom. So for me, sometimes that's grabbing a couple things and putting it out on the counter before I leave to go pick them up so that it's ready to go when they get back. That can sometimes be me rattling off a list of, hey, when we pull in, put your stuff away and you've got this, or this as your choices for after school snack so that it's communicated to my kids. And then as they get older, putting some of them in charge of that. That could even be part of their responsibilities of, hey, for this week, one kid is in charge of snacks, or you just make sure that, hey, you're old enough to, if you need a snack, if you are hungry after school, you can do this. So figuring out what's going to work for your family. Right now, I know this might not seem like it's helpful that I'm just picking out the problem areas, but it's getting you started, right? I need help creating a solution for this. Hey there, I want to take a quick moment to tell you about something super exciting coming this September. It's going to be a game changer for your family's daily routine. Along with my best friend, Camille Walker, we are launching a new podcast called 5-Minute Meditations for Kids. We all know how chaotic life can get, especially with the back-to-school hustle and bustle. It's so important to help our little ones find their calm amidst the chaos. That's exactly why we created 5-Minute Meditations for Kids, the podcast designed to help kids relax, focus, and develop mindfulness skills, all in just 5 minutes. Each episode features a guided meditation tailored just for kids. Whether they're feeling a bit overwhelmed, need a little help winding down for bed, or just want to start their day on a positive note, these meditations are simple, engaging, and most importantly, fun for your kids. So, if you're looking for a way to bring some calm and clarity into your kids' day, be sure to subscribe to 5-Minute Meditations for Kids on your favorite podcast platform. We're launching in September, and I can't wait for you and your family to join us on this peaceful journey. All right, let's get back into today's episode. All right, so problem number 3, and this is probably not even problem, pain point, problem, whatever. Number 3, managing all the after school activities. I always tell myself I'm a different mom when I was signing my kids up for things than I am when it comes time to actually do the things. But it doesn't have to be crazy. Number 1 is the way we talk to ourselves about anything in our life. Honestly, any scenario we come to, any circumstance that we're in, the way that we talk about it, whether that is in our heads or if it is voiced out loud, makes a difference in how we feel about that thing. So if we are saying, I talked about this back in May with our Managing Maycember episode, which is episode 161. I realize it's not May, but you can take the lessons from that episode and put it here. It's how to shift from the mindset of busy to full and how to thrive during the busiest month, but every month honestly can be the busiest month. So that's a great episode if you want to go back and listen to that. But honestly, the way that we talk to ourselves and the way that we talk about our circumstances and our situations, that alone can be the biggest shift for you feeling like you can manage and handle all of it. Now, besides that, let's talk about all the after school activities. Okay, so between sports, music lessons, everything else, that calendar can fill up incredibly quickly. And my kids can feel overwhelmed if they get those things sprung on them at the last minute. They like to know exactly what's going on so that we avoid any surprises. So they want to know the morning of or the day before what's kind of coming up. And I think that that's true for most of us. So my hack for this, I've got a couple different hacks. I have a color-coded whiteboard that is displayed in our command center where everyone can see it. So each kid has their own color. Annabelle is pink, Finn is green, Liam is blue, and I match those colors to my phone, the calendar in my phone as well. I can assign each kid a calendar and I color coordinate it there. So my phone calendar matches my wall calendar. We can all be on the same page. So that's great because my kids pass that. They can see every single day, oh, I see that I've got soccer on this day. Oh, I see that we've got jujitsu on this day, etc., etc., etc. I also go over the day's schedule and expectations with them on the drive to school. Just saying, hey, when I pick you up, we've got this at 3, you've got an hour break in between, etc., etc., etc. Just kind of laying it out for them so that they're prepped and ready and not going to have something thrown at them last minute when they get done with school. I have learned from trial and error and experience and lots of tears and lots of frustration that this works really, really well for my family. And again, I'm going to reiterate that you need to find systems and rhythms, routines, habits that work for your family. And that does take some trial and error sometimes. All right. And then pain point number 4 is homework and reading, especially when it comes after all of the things that you've got going on. And if you're like those sports families or just have a lot of things going on where your kids are in different places doing different things, when in the world are we supposed to do homework and reading? I will tell you that there are times and seasons. ChatGPT tells me to set an alarm for homework time and pick a consistent time. Now, in an ideal world, I completely agree. But since our scheduled day-to-day is a little bit different, that can be a little bit tricky. So honestly, for my family, again, I'm going to tell you, you got to make it work for your unique situation, your unique family, and it can change month by month, season by season, year by year. So be flexible here, figuring out what works for you. So if you need to set an alarm in your phone as a reminder, if you need to have it be immediately when you get home from school so that as the evening goes on, it doesn't get neglected or thrown. I'll be completely honest. This is an area in my home that I wouldn't say we're struggling with, but we're definitely still in our trial and error phase of what is the best possible way to make sure we're getting homework and reading done. We're managing to pull it off. We haven't let things fall through the cracks too much. We're only 2 weeks into school though, so I don't know if that's a big pat on the back or not, but we're definitely in this trial and error area. So where there are areas of my life that we are thriving, I feel like we've really got mornings down and that feels really, really good to start the day. And we've got a lot of our afternoons down. So I feel good, right? I'm winning in a lot of areas. It's fine to not be winning in every single area and to know this is where we need a little bit of work. And this is where I'm going to grab input from my kids too and say, hey, what do you think might work? And I think that that's really important, especially as they get older, to help them be problem solvers, to help them look for solutions, to help them take responsibility and ownership, because honestly, it's not my homework and reading that we're doing, it's theirs. And so if they've got some buy-in on that, that's going to help you as well. Just my thought there. All right. And then not even problem. I don't like that I'm labeling these as problems, but just kind of pain points or parts of your day is winding down for bed and getting ready for bed. I like to try to mirror what I've done in the morning by creating a wind down environment. That can be shutting the blinds, dimming the lights, turning off, TVs and other things that are going on, maybe actually turning on some music to kind of make it a little bit more calm. Again, making sure that expectations are voiced to everyone in the family about what's expected at bedtime. I cannot tell you, again, we're not quite in trial and error phase here. We're a little bit past it, but there's still some little tweaks of, you get done with getting everyone into bed, and then inevitably one kid gets out of bed because they forgot to refill their water bottle, or they needed to check something, or they forgot that they needed to put something in their backpack, right? There's always all these little things that pop up. But coming up with a way to make nighttime calm and not just this mad rush of, listen, I am so checked out. I'm so done being your mom. I can't do one more thing. I need you to get into bed, and you're just yelling and you're done for the night. Those days come. I've been a mom long enough to know that those days come, and it's fine that they do. But I'm trying to have it be more often than not a calmer experience in our home. And that's the goal. And so now we're writing out the ways, the action steps to get to the goal. I know the what. We've got to break down the how. So let me recap that for you really, really quick on the areas to look at in your after school time block and where you can make that work better for your family. So area number 1, drop-off zones, where kids are dropping all of their stuffs. Is that working for you and your family? Is there something you can shift? What can you implement there? Problem number 2, after school snacks. Is that working really well for your family? Is there something else that you could implement? Is there a shift that you want to try? Is there something else that you could do differently to make it a little bit more calm and less chaotic? Problem number 3 is, how are you managing your after school activities? How are you feeling about it? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling frazzled? Or do you have this is crazy, but we've got this kind of attitude going on? Where can you make adjustments when it comes to managing your after school activities? Problem number 4, homework and reading. This is where I will be working on. Is it working for you? Is it not? Do you need some input? Do you need to try some new things out? Problem number 5 is winding down for bedtime, how to create a calm wind down routine. So I hope that got your brain thinking a little bit of how it's going for you. I love the idea of asking yourself these questions. What is going well? Because there's always something going well. What would I like to work on? And you can even review the last 2 weeks and say, what lessons have I learned from the last 2 weeks? What insights do I have? What lessons have I learned? I love asking myself these 3 questions when it comes to anything. I actually got the idea from my daughter and how she evaluates herself after her soccer games. It's so great. Okay. There it is. I hope this gets you feeling a little bit more prepared to take on the rest of the school year. If you've got something that is working really, really well for you and your family and you would love to share it, please let me know. I love having conversations over on Instagram at positively.jessie, or you can drop me an email. Come over to jessielarson.com. It's where all of the resources, all the episodes, all the show notes, everything is for you. And we will see you next week. Thank you for hanging out with me again today. I'm so glad you pressed play. If you want to take a quick second to share this episode with someone you think would love it too, that would be amazing. If you're loving the show, make sure you go and leave a review on iTunes. Reviews are like magic for podcasts, and your review will help get this show into the ears of more amazing women just like you. And come find me over on Instagram. I'm there at positively.jessie, and I cannot wait to hang out with you some more. So until next time, have an amazing week.